Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Rolly from Rolly's Retro Room Podcast, and just want to give you guys a little disclaimer that this episode's audio does have a little bit of some issues. Something happened to the audio file, and we just couldn't wrap our heads around it. So we were able to salvage some audio from the actual camera. So you might notice some drops here and there, but we didn't want to can this episode and try to like recreate the vibes. We just want to keep the authenticity of the feels and the nostalgia. So bear with it. It is a good episode, and thank you for listening. Here's Rolly's Retro Room Pod.
Yo, what is up?
What's up, man?
We're in the same room.
We are.
Yeah.
Successful.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Rolly's Retro Room Podcast. This is episode 4. How you feeling about it so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So you don't know why I get hit, but you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am your host, Rolly. This is my co-host, Tony.
Yo.
And we are the ones that will be guiding you to the nostalgic journey that is our childhood, our experiences, unlocking some of those memories that you haven't thought of in God knows how long. And man, let me tell you, the other day, somebody was talking to me about some things that they did in school, and I was like, I know exactly what you mean. And I told them a story, and they're like, you just literally unlocked that I hadn't thought of in the theory. It was crazy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I really had an epic time.
Good segue. Very good segue. Yeah, I actually, the reason why I'm here in my Florida is because I went to Orlando to go to Epic Universe. Funny thing is, they kind of like force you to buy like a ticket for Epic Universe and then one of the other parks. So you're like, all right, I have to eat this other park. So I went to both Epic Universe and I went to Universal Studios. But let me tell you, Epic Universe, it's in the title. It's pretty epic. Only because of like the main area. Like the other two areas aren't all that great. No offense to anybody. I mean, I'm sure Harry Potter people will like the Harry Potter part, but the part that showed it for me, the main reason why I went was Super Nintendo or Super Nintendo World, where that's kind of like the theme I have right now. Sure, I got this hat there. I got a bunch of stuff there. But man, let me tell you, the Super Nintendo World is crazy. Like, so when you walk in, you choose from 3 worlds, and then literally it's like a warp hole that, or what do they call it, warp pipe?
Yeah.
And it's just like Nintendo, it has the Mario on the top, yeah, like that. And basically, you go through a warp pipe and you go upstairs, and basically, like you see the whole layout. The minute you're in the Princess Castle, you walk out, and then you'll see like the whole layout of the place. And it's so crazy. Like from there, you see everything. It's so crazy. Like I think we have a video of that. Yeah, you see you see right there. So basically.
So this is as you walk out of the world.
So no, you actually, this is from the across from the Bowser's castle. You'll see right there. Like, this is basically the whole thing right there.
Nice.
It's so crazy. That's the Prince Castle. That's where you're coming from, and there's so much to do at this place. Like you're literally integrated into the park because they give you these bands, and with the bands, you go on the park playing.
Are they like slap bands? Like they slap them on?
Yeah, so you slap the bands on. That was me, my son, and my friend. And with these bands, you interact with the whole park. So basically, they'll have these things on the wall. You put your band against it, and sometimes an image will come up. They have bricks where you go hang the bricks to collect coins, and yeah, it's you to try to, and then you have a scoreboard throughout the entire day. So I think we have a video of that too. Yeah, there it is.
So tell me about this. Oh, what's going on here? Oh,
So you see, you go around collecting these stamps. It looks like Toad's flicks in the hawk. You go around collecting stamps, and that's a stamp. And you have to find that little Mario like logo on the wall to collect these stamps. And it's hidden. They're all around the park. So everywhere you walk, you have to look for these stamps. There was another one literally in the middle of a game where you got Luigi. My buddy did that one, Paul. And he's like, we're there. He's like, hey, there's a big one right here. I didn't see it. Look how big that Mario is. Oh my god. Yeah, that's awesome. And they all left Luigi there. And then there was another one I think that my son did. He points it out. And he's like, what's more here? And I went, and I was like, okay.
We guys able to get all?
We did. We got them literally at the right before we left because then you get an achievement, you get coins and stuff like that. So that was pretty dope.
And this is throughout Mario.
Throughout the
Nintendo World. Yeah. Tell me about them Sonic feeling. How was it?
So it's so crazy because there's music playing throughout the whole time. You hear the Mario music, you hear the sounds of Yoshi going around on his he has a little section for himself. You walk into the Princess Castle, it's literally the music from Mario 64. Like I was just like, dude, you get thrown back. And to me, when you hear the Mario 64, like Princess Peach song, I'm thrown back to that living room when I got 64 and I first started playing the game. So that thing was just so crazy. Mario Kart, that ride is awesome. I was the top scorer the first time I went on it, and the second time I was my friend beat me by like 10 points. That thing is crazy. It's augmented reality. They put a visor over your head. Yeah, it's sick. It's so sick.
So like you're going through Mario Kart, did you like raise one land, stuff like that?
Yeah. I basically like you're Team Mario and you're basically trying to shoot the bad guys with shells and make sure they don't get to you.
Man, that's insane. I can't wait.
Yeah. But man, that thing was crazy. It was epic. It was truly, truly epic. And the thing about it was there, like I said, there's two other areas, Dark World and Harry Potter. Dark World, to be honest, I feel like they were trying, like Universal's trying to push that hard because that's the property that they own. And it's boring. Like that the Frankenstein ride, I think we're live for like 15-20 minutes. Like no one was full. And to go to show you again, you're forced to get a ticket for Epic Universe. I mean, when you get a ticket for Epic Universe, you're forced to get a ticket for another park. So then we used the next day package and we went to Islands of Adventure. And when I tell you this eats 78 noodles and Islands of Adventure, the wait for Spider-Man was like 15 minutes.
That's incredible. That's not her.
Jurassic Park, we locked the door. There was no wait. And it was like, I was such mindful. But the truth is, everyone's there for Epic Universe. Like, everyone's there for Epic Universe. I figured. And the crazy thing that happened at Universal Studios was I went on the ride. I had my meta glasses and I wanted to record footage. And I did. I posted a thing on TikTok about it on Instagram. But basically, like, I'm on the ride, and right when you start getting towards like the fun part, like when the dinosaurs are like eating the people and the eco wrap, I start recording. And mind you, there's like people on this ride and they're recording with their phones and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm incognito, phone's in my pocket, and I got my glasses on, they're recording. We're going up, and man, this thing records awesome footage in the low light. I was very impressed with when it recorded. As we're getting to the end, right before you see the T-Rex and you're about to do the drop, over the PA, they didn't stop the ride, over the PA system, they were like, we stated that there's no footage or film to be done on this, no recording. So that includes your expensive meta glasses that you spent so much money on. And I'm just like, yeah, that's me.
You, sir.
And I had to click on it, and my buddy looks at me, he's like, you're the only one. So yeah, but I never got the whole ride. It's literally right before the drop. They said something. So I'm just like, all right, screw it. And we did the drop. We get off. No one tells me anything. We got off. We're good to go.
That is incredible. That is awesome.
That was the highlight when he told me that story. I'm like, bro, you really did that?
I mean, I've seen videos everywhere else that people like, and there's no one has this thing hasn't been out that long. The videos I've seen online has to be people there with their phones just like recording stuff.
Yeah, you see the whole ride on YouTube.
So you don't know, and I know for a fact like they have to have like infrared like cameras,
right,
to watch what's going on in other parts. And this thing just starts like flashing white, a little white light, and they're just like, this guy for footage. So again, I can't be the first one to record it with Ray Dead Metals.
Well, I'm glad you got to go. I'm glad you got to experience that. Can't wait. I get free tickets every year, so next year I'm going to be checking that place out for sure. Cannot wait.
Let me know when you go, so I can maybe we could do it. Like I said, my buddy and I were very competitive. I believe before we left, I was number 4 out of the park of the entire. And he had just passed me. And I dropped to 5 and he was 4 because he was dead on set on beating me. And I thought I had given him a lead. And by the time we left and we went to go check, the points adjusted. I'm like, oh crap. So we were in the top 5.
Okay.
But
I can bring one more image that we had shared.
oh yeah, so that's from the other side where you see like at the top the pole and you see the flower, and then right there where that flower is, that's where Mario and Luigi go for a while.
That's awesome. Did you get to ride Doppy?
No, it was no way. It was raining, and they closed it several times. And once it opened up, the line was like 2 hours. I'm like, all right, we'll come back before we leave. And when we went back, they're like, we're at capacity. We went back an hour and a half before they closed, and they're like, we're at capacity, meaning that they had enough people for an hour and a half worth of rides.
And how was the food?
The food was awesome. So here's the thing about that. They have everything is Mario kind of like theme. So like, yeah, you see right there. So food wise, everything incorporates some kind of mushroom.
Oh, okay.
So my burger, I had to ask for no mushrooms. My buddy got like this massive meatball and said that they have a marinara sauce that's like mashed with meatball with mushroom stuff. And he's like, is there any way I could get another? And he had like say he had an allergy. So he gave him the kids marinara on the meatball. So yeah, and then the spaghetti has like meatball. So we were just like, all right, I'll take 2 burgers, all the mushroom. And then we got like a cake that looks like the little platform that you finish the game with. And then that little question mark box was by, I believe, Sue.
That's awesome. So, yeah.
Moving mushrooms. Mushroom hang it up. Like that. So, pretty cool. But it was definitely an awesome experience. I wanted to do it early because I know as time goes on, a lot of people are going to be going. And like some people's kids are still not out of summer school. I mean, they're still not out of school.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we gotta go down because I want to be for late. This place is slammed. I know for summer that place is gonna be with it.
I'm sure it'll be snaps for sure. So speaking of school, that's a nice little segue to our episode here. What are we talking about today?
We are talking today about school lunches. You remember the cuisines that were given to us during our elementary school days?
Wait a minute. That's where you come now with teens?
Hey, to this day, I don't think I've had a better pizza than those Friday pizzas.
Those Friday square pizzas.
Those Friday pizzas with the pepperoni. I like the little square pepperoni though.
So I'll say, yeah, I remember.
That was the most fire. Like, I remember looking forward to Fridays for those little pizzas with the pepperoni.
Man, those, and somehow they always served corn with it. I don't get that. I'm like, okay, pizza, corn, okay, yeah, and then chocolate milk.
Chocolate more milk with pizza. Oh, well, yeah, mine was always chocolate.
I think everybody's chocolate, but yeah, I had one kid who was like,
it's the only place that you literally just like, yeah, I'm gonna drink chocolate milk and eat a pizza. You try to do that now as an adult,
yeah,
it's the most disgusting thing.
Yeah, that's just
Milk was a bad choice.
yes.
Look at that plate. So you got your milk, you got your fruit, you got your corn, and we definitely did get pretzels in my knowledge.
Definitely not
That extra slot wasn't included. Yeah. Mine was more of the small tray in the bottom, and then we had 3 at the top, and the corn would have been in the place of that pretzel.
Not for sure. And I think you guys, those triangle ices, real things.
Those triangle ices, those things were legit.
Yes.
And crazy enough, what was your favorite flavor?
Actually, you want to know something? We never got that in flavors. The only one I've ever had was the orange one. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they did. The budget must have got cut out of school, but the only flavor I ever had was an orange one. So I had no idea they didn't have flavors.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not so here. The orange one is probably the worst. And that's not saying anything bad. That I'm just saying that in comparison to what to the other ones. The orange one is
The grape one was pretty fire.
the grape one's my favorite one.
Yeah, the grape one was fire.
The grape one is my favorite one.
Was that everybody's usually favorite one?
Typically, you're between cherry and grape. You had some people that yes, the orange one was a favorite. Again, I'm not knocking the orange one. The orange one is good. I'm just saying, comparison ones. the grape was the less favorable. I think grape and cherry were finding it out. I was a grape guy. To this day, that I pick my little flavors from my water. Grape is my favorite. Cherry was there, and then you had the orange, and then I don't know what was that blue one? Blueberry? Was it maybe raspberry? Raspberry. So I think the blue one we didn't get our school. If we did, it was rare. But they would have it like in a little ice bucket pit thing there, blue raspberry,
And you would grab it and put it on your tray.
right. So you go, you pick one, and it's just an ice, like a thing filled with ice. Stick your hand in, you're looking for the one you want. You put it on your tray, cool, you're out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that icy thing was fire. Or you just there like you rip the top off, you're squeezing it up, and then you'd always have like some kind of some juice left at the bottom. You just drink the juice.
It's almost like a push pop triangle form. Correct. But yeah, that's how I remember it. It was a little push pop. Yeah, those school lunches, bro, man. And you always had a kid. No matter what, always had a kid on a Friday who threw up in the cafeteria. And you could tell that pizza, corn, chocolate, milk, just right there. Well, what it was.
Here's the thing. Something similar to that would happen sometimes in my school, but because there's always this kid who was disgusting, and what he would do is he would mix everything from his plate. So a piece of pizza, throw corn on there, throw some of the fruit, throw some of the freaking icy on there, melt it on there, pour the milk on it. Remember, they would pour the milk on it, mash it up, and then slurp the.
And then you would ask people, "Do you dare me to eat it?"
Yes, the dare.
They would always ask, "Do you dare me to eat it?"
Yep.
And most of you were like, "Yeah, I don't care. Just do it."
And then most of the time the kid would do it. Some of the times they were already used to doing that disgusting thing, so they built a tolerance of disgustingness. But then you had the ones who wanted to fit in, like, oh, I feel that too. They would do it. They can stomach it, and then all of a sudden, right after they downed it, the gagging came. The Jim Carrey will come out.
Sounds like my 21st birthday.
Yeah, basically.
And here comes the janitor.
But that was Friday. Fridays where we look forward to it because we were guaranteed pizza. I don't think the other foods were allocated to certain days.
No, they weren't. I think it was just Friday.
It was random, but Friday for sure was pizza day.
Yeah.
So another food my brother brought to our attention was the sloppy Joe.
Oh,
the sloppy Joe where they hit, and I tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've had a good sloppy Joe as an adult.
I think you have to. I think I had one, but it was homemade. I can't say that I've had one from the restaurant other than the ones from school that were pre-finished. Right. Like they were legit. You could have two or three.
I would see the sloppy Joes there in school, and when they were trying, like, yeah, some people were like, ill, they're gross, and they would literally go by the name, oh, sloppy Joes, that's gross. So I'm like, dude, and then remember that you'd be, oh, you don't want it, I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not gonna eat that, let me get that
for sure. And of course, we didn't have like a lunch lady like Billy Madison. Have some more sloppy Joe.
You know, she like a extra sloppy. Hey, lady, you're speaking the crap out of us.
We definitely do. That's up lunch day. Any extra sloppy Joes? There's just one, but we definitely took the ones that's like, you're not gonna eat that, I'll take it for sure. And we had, I think we had corn dogs. We had corn dogs. Yeah, it definitely wasn't hot dog. I think remember it was corn dog for sure. It was.
You get the little ketchup packet.
So
put the ketchup on top of the corn dog. We were immature kids, so there was some jokes that were made about corn dogs. Look at that sloppy Joe.
Look at that. Look at this sloppy, extra sloppy right there.
Yeah. Here we got those green. Bro, where were these schools that were getting these images from? Because
they were in Miami-Dade County. Let me tell you that.
They got apple?
That's fancy. That's all.
Wait, that was just a sloppy Joe. Like swished down.
We didn't have three things on the bowl thing.
Yeah, definitely did for sure.
But yeah, the sloppy Joe looks about right. All the other things we didn't get that.
No, definitely not. But definitely the sloppy Joe that's how premiership looked. Just maybe more squished. Yeah, definitely for sure.
And do you remember the evolution of the juice?
I do.
The juice used to be like in a carton.
Yeah.
And guess there were budget cuts, or they went with another company and then we ended up getting the little baggies.
And it was
With the smallest straw to pierce it.
Yeah.
You would squeeze it and then you stab it with the straw.
yeah, and there was no like hole to like guide it. It just said you have to squeeze everything and do it fast.
Yeah, it wasn't a Capri Sun or anything like that. It was just a little bag of juice, little sack of juice. You stab it and you drink it. Some people would just literally just bite the corner and just take that in after that.
Sure, like that. Yeah, especially if they lost the straw or something like that.
Mhm.
For sure. Yeah, I remember those. All right, I think there's definitely bunch of cuts. Like we can't afford these cuts.
I mean, that juice hit too. I was a big orange juice drinker. Did they have apple juice like that?
Yeah,
They had the apple juice as well. Orange juice is definitely my go-to for a lot of stuff. Sunny D was like one of the things I drank. Like I would go outside and play sports, and like they were promoting to us the most refreshing thing after playing sports was Sunny D.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I need a Sunny D. I'll tell my mom, can you please just buy the 6 packs? And she would just buy like that gallon of like the regular orange juice. Mind you, we lived in Florida. Orange juice was dozens of orange juices in Florida, but I wanted Sunny D.
yeah, everybody wants something. Like technically, I'm a big it's real.
It's not.
It's like 10.
Taste.
Yeah, it's not. But and we lived before.
But I mean, I love orange juice. The orange juice was like that. And literally, that's probably one of the more refreshing. So apple juice, I think, was a little too sweet.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have the same effect. But orange juice, I love drinking orange juice.
I mean, yeah, you could have got out of Sunny for sure. I think I don't know what it was, but kids at Sunny, because I can't drink that nowadays.
No.
I can't wait to any for me. Yeah.
Well, it's also all the sugar that it has, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's packed with sugar.
Oh, yeah, sure. And if I have any drink that has super amounts of sugar, I need to like lay down for like 20 minutes because I feel like I'm like super bloated.
Yeah.
Because of all that sugar.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily, but as kids,
Yeah. We're burning through that sugar for sure. What was another thing that we got? I think we got fried chicken.
yeah, fried chicken.
We got fried
It wasn't
chicken.
crispy, by any means of the imagination.
Yeah, but that chicken was healthy,
Yes.
and there was like, all right, well, this is our healthy option because we're giving them pizza on Friday, we're giving them corn dogs,
Yeah.
so chicken will be the healthy option.
Yeah.
It's fried chicken.
It's fried chicken. That wasn't healthy option. I guess that was their version. And now, if you look at the school lunches now, bro,
I'd be depressed as a kid in elementary school.
Yeah.
If I knew what my parents were getting in their lunches.
Yeah.
For sure. Like you guys were getting carnival food for lunch and I have to eat 4 freaking carrots
yeah,
and
There is-
celery and the peas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No.
yeah, that's there. Yeah, no way.
I'll take that lunch.
Any day of the week, bro. Any day.
Now with the lunches, we were in lunch. I think lunch was about like 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So you would eat your food, and there, we had things that we did to pass the time. I know one of the things amongst boys was we would race to chug our milk.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, who wants to beat me today? Who's gonna chug the milk? And basically,
No straws allowed.
no straw, no. You would pop the thing open. You have the little triangle opening of the milk, and then you have the third party guy count down, and then you have to chug, and then you slam the thing on the throat, and then you turn it around to show that you drank it all. So I wasn't good at chugging, whereas I just have a fear of drowning. So I control all types of like whenever I'm drinking a liquid, I let a certain amount go in at a certain time, and that was just I wasn't good at chugging, but the other events, the shenanigans of school lunches, the other events that would happen during school lunches that I was top tier. I was one of the top guys for spoon fights.
Oh my god.
With the sports.
The sports. I'll never forget that. You had to bend the tip.
So the bending of the tip came a little bit late. We would do the flat and we would hit. And then I forgot. I think it was like second grade when we were doing this. Now we saw like the third, fourth graders, and they would bend the tip, and basically it gives you like
an extra
right, and it's that downward force with that piercing part.
Yeah,
it's crappy. So the rules of, if I remember correctly, of spoon fighting was, if you hit the spoon and you break a piece off, you get to go again.
Yeah.
If you hit the spoon and you don't do any damage, they get to go.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was a 2-hitter. One hit would break up a chunk off, and the second hit would break the other chunk off. I know a kid from back then, I believe, I don't know, but this guy was not all the time, but every once in a while, he was a 1-hitter.
Oh, we're on a hitter. I'm going to explain that to the audience.
One hit, and he would break off the entire spoon. The entire spork would break off.
That's a rarity, bro.
Versus like me, I was a 2-hitter, sometimes a 3-hitter, but a 2-hitter where I would basically hit the left and then I would hit the right, and that's it. I was done. I would break the spoon completely. But this kid, I don't know how he figured it out, and he wouldn't do it every single time, but he was the one that would do it the most. He was known as I think his name was Pedro at my school. But he would go, and I would go against him. I'm like, crap, this is the only dude that could take it out. And I'll get my spoon, and if he didn't get that, if he didn't break it on that first hit, then I was stuck. I was gone anyways, because basically that second hit was breaking. But he was a 1-hitter from Olsen Park. If I went first, I won.
Yeah.
Because I was a 1-2. Yeah. I never did a 1-hit, unfortunately. I did 2 hits, I did 3 hits, but never 1.
I told you it must be like a sweet spot, because I've never done a 1-hit, but I'd always seen someone else do it. I don't know who it was, but I've always seen you just see it and all of a sudden gone.
Yeah.
I was like, how the hell do you do that? Mm-hmm. And you always knew the better ones this high and the better ones from the not so okay, the okay ones when they bet their slip. When you see a long bend, it was okay, you're not so good. But when you see that little short bend, that little
just a tip.
That's it. Just the tip. It was stronger and it knocked your screen.
Yeah.
Paid off for sure.
Like when you hit that little thing right there, bro, you will knock chunks of that spork off.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, the spoon fights came from us doing pencil fights.
Yeah, I think that came after. We would always do pencil fights where you held them and you flick them, try to break.
But the problem was, after pencil fights, you didn't have a penciling.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember in my school, in the cafeteria, we had a pencil machine in the corner of the cafeteria. And it was 25 cents per pencil.
Right.
And these were cool pencils. I think they had smell to them.
Yeah.
And they had cool little designs. Then 90s inflation came, and it was 50 cents.
Yeah. Well, 50 cents.
Yeah. I got crap. I eat 2 quarters now. But those pencils that we got from that pencil machine weren't that great. Yeah. I remember to this day, the thing was a specific number 2 pencil. Those were the king pencils for pencil fights.
I can't remember.
I don't remember the brand, but I know the font and the ink that says what kind of pencil it is. It was black.
Okay.
And then the eraser thing was green.
Okay.
The eraser holder at the tip of it was green.
Yes.
If you saw that green tip eraser holder and the black lettering, that pencil was one of the stronger pencils.
So you knew your thought to your line.
Yep.
I guess that.
So pencil fights led to spoon fights, and then if we weren't fighting our utensils or our writing mechanisms, we basically were doing cut downs. We were doing disses.
And we were mama jokes.
Your mama jokes. Your mom's so fat she plays pool with the planets.
Yeah.
What was the one? There's a manual. Your mom was so fat she uses I-95 as a slip and slide. What was the other one? Your mom was so fat she puts a belt on with a boomerang. Your mom was so fat when she sits in class, she sits next to everybody. Yeah. It was we're just going on, and a lot of these we would get from either books, like your mama joke books,
yeah,
or I think at the time in Living Color having a section homie, we don't play that. Homie the Cloud would say mama jokes, or they had another segment also mama jokes, and we're just up in.
I remember Mr. Payne.
Yes.
That's where I think that's where
is that where the movie came from? Major Pain? Well, Damon Wayans is in Living Color, and that was what his idea.
Yeah, Major Pain. He did. He's like, "Hey, your mom was so fast, play pool with the plants." Mm-hmm. That's right there.
And if you were a kid and you heard your mama joke, you're like, "I need to remember this. I write it down somewhere so I can use it the next day at school."
Yeah. And back then, you have to remember it wasn't written down.
Yeah, it was.
You have to remember it. I was so fat. Used your equator as a belt, bro. like, yo, it was there. It was already.
Oh, you're so poor. Like, it wasn't mom. It was, oh, you're so poor. I saw your mom kicking a can down the street and asked her, oh, what are you doing? She said, oh, movie.
Yes.
So stupid. We were so dumb.
I know, but it was just part of that society. Yeah, that you just try to find yourself, just being where you fit in and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, man, it was a time of our lives, bro. Like, I think it was no cell phones. It's like it's just us and
Yeah. And then you're just, you're trying to be, like back then the alpha male thing was like, who could be the biggest ass?
Yeah.
Who has the best this?
Yeah.
I remember I got this one kid one time. Unfortunately, his mom was overweight. As she would pick him up all the time. Kids are bad. Kids are dumbasses. Like, I shouldn't say these things, but I killed him in one of our little disc battles with your mom. No one had heard this one yet. It was, your mom was so fat, she fell down and broke her ankle and gravy poured out. Dad. It was one of those moments where it was just like, ooh, everyone's in. Yeah, and then he's just there. He's like, don't talk. And then he pushes. Oh shit! Don't talk. Like, what are we here for? What are we doing?
Yeah,
this is what we're here for. Yeah. And I got that. And then what happened after I did that, and the whole crowd started going out. Remember those the patrol kids? I were the source. The patrol, safety patrol. Yes, safety. So, and I will lead this up. That topic, we'll talk about a full-fledged topic about city patrol. But the city patrol came running because he saw a crowd and he said, oh, what's going on here? And again, I was a little bit of a douchebag as a kid. And I was like, yo, you get your ass out of this group, right? I mess you up. Then, I'm going to take you to the office. And I was like, I'll let you see that. And then, well, you have to come with me because I had to. All right, cool. I grabbed the sash. I was like, so if I take the sash off, what are you going to do? And then he goes, teacher. I'm like, all right. That's very cool. Again, I don't promote bullying, but this was the 90s. It was a little bit different. Yeah. So, therefore it was. But yeah, man, that was your mama jokes, pencil fights. And then I think the last thing we did, or there were probably some other things that people did at lunch, and people would probably bring it up and comments or stuff like that. But basically in lunch, because in class you couldn't do this, you brought like a toy to school, that'd be your time to flex it. For sure. You had like a Ninja Turtle with you, you brought your Game Boy, you're there at lunch, you have it like under the table, they'll get right back to school. You put it on top of what teachers aren't looking or anything like that. But then when they come around, it's cool. And then you like Tetris or Sonic. I remember I took my mutating Raphael. So basically his toy was a full-fledged Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And then you could turn its parts inward into the shell.
Oh, I remember.
And turn other parts out and basically make it into a baby turtle.
I remember those things.
I took this toy to school and I had it in my book bag. I was like, bro, when we get to lunch, I'm going to show this thing off. I'm like, just got from the head just came out. And when we get to lunch, I pulled it out and it was in the turtle, like the baby turtle form. And everyone was like, oh, what is that, bro? That's just it. It doesn't do anything. I go, wait, transformer that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Make it stand, pull the weapons out. And they're like, yo, that's freaking awesome. And it morphs back into it mutates back, morphs with powers. It mutates back into a little, yep. And so the funny thing is, when we went back to class, my teacher saw it, but I had it in like the baby turtle thing. And she's like, you have a toy of a baby turtle? I was like, yeah. I want to get in trouble. I was like, yeah, because my mom told me that if I could take care of this toy, get me a turtle. Oh, so my teacher was like, oh, so you're learning about responsibility and taking care of a pet. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. And she's like, okay, only this time I'll allow you to have your toy out. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, so you can have your little turtle out and have it on your dash. I'm like, so now I got the flex in the class. If everybody, I put that Raphael tape on the edge of my desk. Like, your desk is like this big. You have your little nameplate that like this taped down into the thing. So, well, Hernandez, and then I have my turtle right there. And I look at my brothers and like, turtle out.
Have you ran into those things?
Sure. I have the whole set. I have the whole set 3 times. I have an open set, I have a sealed set, and I have an extra set. Vesicles.
I can't believe that's cool flex. I think another flex is definitely well, I don't know if it was flex, but I think everybody had it was like fourth, fifth grade. That's what hogs knew. And there was pog tournaments in the cafeteria.
Yep.
They put out the pog pass, and it's like, all right, and the way we played it, it was whoever flips them over gets to keep up.
Yep.
So it was like straight up gambling. It's like, all right, here we go, let's do this.
Yeah, I remember I had my show pogs, the ones I wanted to keep. I wouldn't use those in the values.
Yeah.
And I had like the cheapy ones. Back in the day, you would get like shirts.
Yeah.
And the shirts had like an extra like little thing for you to get hung.
Yeah.
So I remember I think it was like No Fear had poggers on them. Something Sun had poggers. Sun had,
Yeah, I'm not that log on it. I remember getting a neighbor flickers.
yes. And then I had my Power Ranger ones. I had some sports ones. The Power Ranger ones never were in pilot. And I had a bunch of like 8-balls, yin yang,
Ninja Stars,
skulls, Ninja Star. I had a slammer that was a Ninja Star.
Yeah.
And bro, that thing was heavy. I'll never forget. This one kid, he busted out like a stack like this, pulled it out, and he, I'll play my second against yours. So I'm like, oh crap, here we go. All right. But then I see his slammer, and it's like a thick but plastic slammer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy's fucked.
Yeah.
I got this kid.
Yeah.
Bro, I bring out that Chinese star thing, and that thing was this thick metal. I was like, all right, flip a coin, see who goes first. Flips a coin. I go first. Bro,
go.
Bam. Bro, when I tell you this thing went, like it hit, and the whole thing just turned over, and I think 4 of them stayed normal. The entire thing flipped over.
That's a big one.
And this kid goes, he's like, oh, this is not fair. You cheated.
Come on.
You saw my slammer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you hold a little cheap plastic one that weighs ounces. Meanwhile, mine weighs like a pound and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took that stack, and he had like top tier, like holographic, like lenticular ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has some nice ones.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I was like, yo, why would you put your good ones towards the top of the middle? You put the good ones at the bottom, and the ones you don't care about losing, you put those at the top.
For sure. Did you have one of your tubes, or wand tubes?
Oh, I had 3 tubes.
Bro, my box stack was stacked. And I think you had your flex. My flex was my slammer. My slammer was a nuclear bomb.
Nice.
And it was metal. And I busted. So I would have a slammer, a plastic slammer, just to kind of toy with them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they brought out their good stuff, I'm like, all right, bam. I stood up and had a hole through the nuclear bomb, and you look through and you go, bombs away. What? And you just drop that thing, and it goes, and the whole thing blew over. I was like, done. I was done. That's Jim's thing. That's how
You had to be strategic, man. I didn't want to lose my good ones. All my Power Ranger ones were at the bottom. I had some Michael Jordan ones, which, funny enough, now I got some polish for the retro room, and I got a bunch of I got a bunch of Power Ranger ones and some sports ones, some Michael Jordan ones, and but I got no stars. I got plenty some sliders like yes. But yeah, man, those were the things we did. And in lunch, we had pretty dope lunches. The food was fire. We had those ices.
Yeah.
Chugging competitions, pencil fights, spoon fights, disses, cut downs, your mama jokes, and pugs.
Yep. And those are some good lunches, bro. Those were memories for sure. For sure.
So then now you think about like when you go from elementary school to high school, or elementary school to middle school. Here we have middle school. I know some places like middle school and high school are like one, but here we had a middle school and we had a high school.
Yeah.
And when you go to middle school, something changes. So you have like everyone in your class, like those are your friends. You have your neighborhood friends, kids that you ride bike with, you love playing with, play sports with. That's your group. That's your clique, if you will.
Yeah.
But now you get to middle school and something changes. Now there's like these label cliques.
Yeah.
There's people like back in our day, it was like more based on like the music you listen to.
Yeah.
So you have people that are like, okay, yeah, rockers, hip hoppers, if you will.
Yeah.
You had like the band nerds,
Yeah, the band geeks. Yeah.
band geeks. You had like the guys who were the nerds who were like into like magic. This is before Pokemon. This is right before Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely Magic.
Magic Gathering was the card game.
Yeah.
The band. I said the band geeks already. Yeah, you said band geeks, which I was one of those.
I was.
What were the other groups that we had?
Well, I guess I think that's how we started off.
Yeah.
It was just like simple. It's like
The rockers, hip hoppers. Then you had the preppies.
yeah, the preppies for me came because I was a rocker. I came into just like that,
Right.
But definitely like the rockers were the ones that be here. Both the hits of the thing, the rockers and the hip hop herbers actually wrote their favorite band and favorite rap artists on their book bag. The book bags. What's this? Why not?
Oh yeah. Trust me. Everybody. There was two like things drawn on most of the people's book bags in my school. It was the Wu-Tang signal, and then you had the S. Everyone would draw 90s S with the 6 sticks. You connect the sticks and it makes that S for sure. And then you have people. So you have people put like that. People who are into hip hop. They were putting No Limit on their stuff. They were putting Cash Money.
Yo,
And then you had the people with the ACDC, that's it, Neos, Guns N' Roses, just to show this is the bands I listen to. So outside of the music ones, you had the jocks, which I also like. The thing is, when I participated in just about every group, So like I didn't have anything. So then what would happen if you weren't a dedicated person to one clique? You were poster. Oh, you're not, you can't pick a side.
yeah. Why are you hanging out with them?
You need to either be a rocker or you talk about rap, or you need to be one up. Like, dude, I'm into everything. Like, there's no way I could pick one thing. I'm everything to show you. So in my neighborhood, most people were into hip hop. In my house, I had young teenage uncles, so I didn't get to listen to. I would listen to rock, but like on that. My uncles were teenagers and they would listen to hip hop all day. And I love hip hop.
Yeah.
Biggie, to every blah blah blah. Snoop came out, Ice Cube, even Vanilla Ice. One of my uncles became obsessed with Vanilla Ice and got the haircut. He modeled his life and his look after Vanilla Ice. So hip hop was a big thing in my house. Rock was nowhere to be seen. So I got into rock myself. So much so that my friend goes to me. I told him that I like rock. He's like, nah, you're a hip hop guy. I was like, no, like I like hip hop, I like rock too. He goes, oh, prove it. I was like, okay, I like these bands. I'll say this stuff bands: Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Green Day. He goes, oh, you like Green Day? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, your birthday's coming up. I got a surprise. That kid gifted me my first rock album.
I didn't know that was Chris Trogger, the Green Day. I'm a cassette.
Green Day cassette. Green Day flute. My very first rock album gifted to me by Chris Trogger was Green Day 2.
It wasn't like a paint bucket, right? Is that how he gifted it to you, in a paint bucket? I vaguely remember that.
I think so. Yeah. All I know is that he's like, oh, this will prove if you actually like rock. I was like, dude, like, I'm not prove it. But anyways, I only knew one song, which is Basket Case. Excellent song. And then I started listening to the album, and I was like, every song on this damn tape is great. My brother was into rock. He didn't listen to rock at all. And he would forcefully have to listen to it. I listened to it in the room. And he got into it. And he's like, yo, this thing hits. It absolutely does. This album is great.
So what my parents probably
one of my favorite songs on that tape or on that album is the last song. And like, no one ever knows. It's called F.4. Is it? Like, it is a banger. It starts off very slow, and towards the end, it hits hard.
Yeah,
it goes hard. But the majority of the song is very slow, very like calm, and such a dope song. And then right when the day is about to end, they just hit, and it goes so hard. So, but anyways, back to the click thing. So when it in 6th grade, I didn't have a clique. They have a team I picked. I didn't have. I was a floater.
Yeah.
And then I was told by a girl. Her name was Jackie. She'll probably see this. She follows me on social media. It's friends to this. She goes to me. She was like she would dress like a, how do you say, like a mix between preppy and rockers.
Yeah, she's a preppy one, so she still have the Jico jeans.
Similar, kind of, but not really. But she would wear it. But she was a mix. She was like one of the other girls in my grade, and she sent something to me, and she goes, "Man, you look like this guy Jesse, who I think is like one of the hottest guys in school." I'm like, okay. She goes, "It's too bad you're not a rocker, because if you grew out your hair, you were a rocker, you would be so much better than me." I was like, okay. So what am I supposed to do with this information?
Yeah.
So I went poly. That summer, I told my mom, I want Airwalks. I want Airwalks. I want my rocker pants. I want to grow my hair out. And for 7th grade, I claimed I was a rocker.
Good.
Now what happened?
I remember that.
Yeah. Now what happened? All my friends, hip hop,
yeah,
with the exception of 1 or 2, all my friends were like, "What are you doing, dude? How could you flip like that?" I was like, "Man, I like rock." Chris Triner was probably the only rocker in that whole group, and I'm like, yo, like this is me, like this is me now. I did like rock.
Yeah.
Did I have a not hidden agenda, but did I have an extra motivation? Yeah. So school starts. I go to school. I have like those they're not pleated, but they're like they have corduroy pants.
Yeah.
It, a few colors.
Yeah.
My Airwalks. I was very proud of. And that's the first time my mom bought me a pair because I always wanted Nike and I wouldn't get Nikes, but Airwalks were cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. And I get to school and the first thing I want to do is find this field. I'm like, hey, I'm friends. And we stayed friends. She's super cool. I went up to her like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, hey. And then I was like, so how was your summer? She's like, oh, it was good. I was like, I'm just there. I'm like, yo, she's not noticing my entire outfit. Like, I'm not dressed like last year. My hair is a bit longer. I had this, I went to Rips, believe it or not. I got a shark tooth, nice chain. Yeah. It was like a black thing, but with a shark tooth on there. And I got nothing out of it. She said, cool friends, she never knows. I didn't know how to bring it up. I didn't know how to say, so remember what you said? If I look like this, or if I grew my hair out, I'll be that Jesse kid, and you would think I'd be more attractive. Never brought it up. I know how to. All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna ride this rocker wave for the rest of the year and see you later. See if there's any other like potentially really hot girls that think being a rocker, and none of the other girls thought anything positive about rock. But I had a good group of friends that we hung out with. Half of the speeches like that.
But it got you, you know what I think what got you into was listening to other things besides just hip hop. I think that's what I like. It's just like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to just one band or one style. I'm gonna listen to kind of all the styles.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty cool part. So, and I think as we got into high school, we definitely started to feel ourselves more and stuff. And then there was changes when we got out of high school. It was like, okay, like for me, I think I was a rocker 7th and 8th, had a mushroom haircut, had the dog collar, the ball chain, the wallet chain, bro. I'll never forget. I think I got like the wallet chain, had the wallet chain, and had these like little keychains. Mm-hmm. And I think I got that from Biodome. That movie, one of my favorites. Yeah, Steven Baldwin had the exact same thing. I'm like, do that. And I had the exact same thing. And then I think got to high school where it's like, okay, I got rid of the mushroom hair, which I think will have my hair up to here. And Ricky Martin, so, there it is. There it is. You were living the dial, living me to look good. It was just the style, and then the preps came in. I'm like, well, that's not nice with sales. You can still wear the baggy jeans, but you wear nice square vests.
I think I mixed that preppy preppy look in with like the gangster look here and there. But for the most part, I kind of did the gangster look when I got to high school. I had the baggy pants, the Sean Jock, the Fulu, just Tommy Hilfiger polo shirts, Nautica jackets. I had black Timberland boots. That was when I first got the first Nikes I had. So in high school, yeah, I went all out on my like the image and the style. I did like the hip hop. But in high school, I didn't have Clique. I said, I'm not doing that Clique shit. I would literally in lunch, I would sometimes hang out with the athletes. I would hang out sometimes go to the band. I didn't do band in high school. I only did it in middle school because I wanted to play football in high school. And so I would hang out with the band sometimes. The nerds, that table with the nerds, the geeks, we would have all out battles. What was better, PlayStation or N64? That was the going debate at that time in 1998, 1999. N64, PlayStation. And everyone had their laundry list of things that would say that is why it's better. Well, PlayStation has more games, has more serious games. N64 is kiddie. N64 has better graphics, and we have a better control system. And to be honest, Mario 64 is the best game at that time. Yeah, Mario 64 was the best game.
You have to mention Super Smash Brothers.
That didn't come out later.
But then it come out
the initial launch of N64, you had like Mario 64, Wave Race, Pilot Wings, and I think Star Fox came out a little bit later.
And so GoldenEye came out later.
GoldenEye came out a little.
Was that the one that came out with the Rumble Pack with the Star Fox?
Star Fox came out, which I have that.
Let's talk about that controller. That was like revolutionary.
That controller to me, a lot of people hate on it. A lot of people talk crap about it. I think that at the time was the greatest controller to ever exist. Like that controller made so much sense. You're gonna play this game and you want to use the D-pad. All right, cool. All right, for this game, you're gonna use the joystick. You switch over. You just grab the handle that you want, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
but then PlayStation kind of took that, ran with it, and made the dual analog, and that revolutionized game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're the one who told me this because when I got my first PlayStation, it came with the dual analog. But you told me the very first PlayStation didn't have it. And I saw pictures of it. I'm like, oh my god, they're gone. They're not there. It's just the D-pad and the 4 buttons. And I'm like, what crap? That didn't come after until 64 came out with the joystick. Right? I'm like, gosh.
And I'm very sad to say to the dual analog. Now, here's the crazy thing. I play a lot of first-person shooters. I specifically only play Call of Duty on my PlayStation 5 right now, Warzone. And I'll every once in a while, actually more late, I've been playing retro game on my retro systems. Playing S4 and GoldenEye. When I tell you that I was a master at GoldenEye, I could speed run that game. I could beat that game in about 45 minutes, maybe quicker. I'll run through it. I'll do up the hardest settings. I'll run through it. Crazy. You go back now, try to play GoldenEye after implementing the mechanics. Call of Duty, that first level is gonna take you about 10 minutes.
I don't get it. Why?
Because you're so used to the dual analog of being able to control where you look and where you aim, that now it's like this more. It's a simple system of like a bit of you targeting, but also auto targeting, and then the moving around. So if you try to transition now after a while playing it, you do catch on. But I'm telling you, it's not like riding a bike. You can't just jump back into N64 and expect it to be like how you were before. It's not right. But that's that thing. So yeah, so that was one of the cliques I would hang out. I would have lunch with. I would go meet up with these guys, and I would jump into. And I'm talking about we would have magazines to support our arguments. Oh my god, Nintendo Powers. What was the ED Gamers?
Yeah, ED Gamers.
I think it was Silver. Yeah. PlayStation had their own magazine. Like we were just there, just lining up all these specs. Which one's better? Which one's gonna better graphics, better controller, better games? And it was just an on date battle.
Speaking of magazines, I remember this. I think this for both people. The East Bay magazine.
I was gonna say that. Oh, I wasn't gonna say that. I thought about it
every 3 years a month.
Yes,
we were a sneaker in my school. I think most schools, all sneakerhead during that time, they had the greatest sneakers. Yeah. And East Bay was your place to see what was out, to what was coming out. And when you saw what Jordans were coming out at the time, the competing shoe with Jordan, they were saying that this is the next shoe that's going to take over, the next player to take over, but the Penny Hardaway's.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So if it wasn't the Jordans, it was the Pennies. Then you had your Pippins, and had your up tempos that's the with the air across the side.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like East Bay had everybody in a chokehold. That new East Bay came out, you grabbed it, and the second you went to school and you opened it, everyone's over your shoulder.
I remember it was free. Like you just have the second, they were just getting your mail, right?
Yep. But man, that East Bay had us in a chokehold.
Yep.
Every time East Bay had a new issue, I'd get, and for what? I never got shoes from them. I never bought vacation shoes. No.
It was just looking.
It was just to look. And I think so they would have like some promos in there that were like Nike would have some sick promos.
But it was also cool to take it to school. Yeah, like you know, like you had it.
It was a flex. Yeah. Yo, I got the new East Bay. I got it for everybody. Like if you got that East Bay right when it dropped, if you got it on Friday, that Monday you're like, yo, I got the new East Bay. And you're at the lunch table.
Yeah.
And we're watching the page. Hey, let me see it.
And definitely had anywhere from Jordans to Vans to Airwalks. They had
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
It didn't like segregate any shoe.
Well, it did segregate, but the majority were basketball shoes. For sure. It was mostly basketball shoes.
Yeah.
You had your Vans, your Airwalks. Maybe they had like one page or half a panel page, and then you had the promotion. They were promoting Penny Hardaway, Little Penny. They had all the Jordans on there. I remember the Nike promos where it's just the shoe laid sideways. It will say a number, and maybe like the release date and stuff like that. But East Bay was like in middle school and in high school.
Yeah.
East Bay was it.
Yeah.
Everyone was on that.
So it was like a dreaming for a compass. This is where, I have a feeling a lot of the sneakerheads that we know nowadays got the train for East Bay.
The sneakerheads from our era were absolutely all on. We are. I'm a sneakerhead. I had a sneaker selling business.
Yeah.
And whenever I would meet up with somebody of my age, that was a topic we were talking about. Like, yo, do you remember when we were in school? We would go to East Bay and say, oh, East Bay, just took me back, dude. I used to get that every month. Oh, yeah, man. That's how we would see our shoes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And my first hype shoe that I ever got was a Penny. I'm actually wearing a version of like the Penny too. You know the.
Yes. Yeah, it was mine. Mine was white.
Yeah, it's one of the white ones. Mine's with the black ones.
I wish I would have brought. I might feel there's a. They brought it back for like something. They were very uncomfortable to wear. For like
The ones that say Air.
the one that say black and white one, Air.
Yeah, and I got the Air Pump. I have the current. I bought the current.
They were good. Yeah, but they came out. I was like, yo, steaks tomorrow, man. I could like only got because I had them when I was a kid, and I go, yo, basically I get some pair instead.
Well, in school, if you went to school, the brand that see back when sneaker culture was, you have a pair of dope basketball shoes. Let's test them. Yeah, it was a thing for show, and you were playing it as a t-shirt, but it was more of a. I'll never forget the first day I went to school with my Chinese. This was already after the run of the Tiny Tours. Kind of towards the end because I think my mom got them on sale for like $79 each for me and my brother.
Yeah.
And the only reason why she bought them was because she was tired of buying us some cheap shoes and having to keep buying more and more and more. Yeah, I told her, that's a good pair. And let's see how they quote. Oh, we made them last. That first day that I came with those RP shoes, I'll never forget. These two guys, I believe his name was George Lynn and the other was Michael Weber. And they go to me, hey, you want to play basketball? Yo, you got the pennies on you. Want? Yo, we need another one for a game. I would talk to these guys in class, but they never invited me to play basketball. The day I showed up with the pennies, the first thing they looked down, they looked up, they said a few words to each other. Yo, Rolly, you want to run threes with us after school? I was like, what? Me? And they're just like, yeah, you got the pennies, right? I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'm like, oh shit, I got to play basketball now. And I would play basketball. I played basketball growing up, but like these were like the top basketball dudes at school. Right? I'm like, oh shit, I'm playing with the real dudes tonight. So, and then after that, I was just like, fuck. Like after these shoes, I I need to keep this image up. And to my mom, I go, hey mom, I need the new crates. Yeah. And she buckled down and got me and my brother the next weighted parties that came out when they came out. And I'll never, to this day, I still hear about it. I buy you $150 pairs of shoes. And I'm like, yeah, you did. And I appreciate it. Trust me, you kept my status.
Like yours were the black ones.
Yeah, we both had the black ones. Yes, we both had the black ones. And then they had that little bubble tip the back.
And then I got the white ones after. I had 2 pairs of white ones.
Yeah.
But my white ones they're not like the ones we have now. They were white, and then on the front, they had like this thing in the front that was blue. Because they were white and blue.
Right.
And I've looked for that shoe like for years. Like even online, like I can't like.
What time, bro? But yeah, I think that's kind of do it, man. I think we had a crazy trip down memory lane today.
I think so, and it was crazy stuff back up. Like it's crazy. You talk about it, like, oh my God, that's right. I think that's what it does for everybody. I think realistic part,
Guys,
I wanted them to recharge that memory.
as we were talking about it, the spoon fight thing, I knew we were going to talk about it. And then, but once I started talking about it, I literally was in the cafeteria of Silver Bluff. I remember everybody around me. Remember the clip, like, the sound it would make. I'm just like I took myself back. It's crazy.
And you could hear it really entire cafeteria. You knew later they were coming.
Yeah. And to the point, if you remember, it was school. They banned it. They said no spoon fighting.
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no spoon fighting. And I think they would have some of the lunch ladies for a time come to all the tables to see if we had finished eating to take the remaining spoons. So we would grab multiple.
Yeah.
Use it when we use it, and then we'll pocket the other, like, hey,
I think you take spoon fight and take it.
Take it to the class.
Yeah.
Or take it to class.
Yeah, or PE.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk about PE for sure in the next one.
Awesome. All right,
But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it on that.
for sure.
But this has been Rolly's Retro Room. I am your host, Rolly.
I'm Tony.
And this has been a trip down memory lane to all your retro days, to those days when it was just so much easier to go to school, play some kickball, and jump on the bus to go home. Take it easy.